Okay, like we're contributing, but we're not. We could be contributing more. Like we're getting shut down a lot. We're getting sort of picked off a lot, and that's just because we're not using our tools quite enough. We're not repositioning quite aggressively enough using the grappling hook. This map, I actually haven't watched this map all the way through. I think this is about where I got to when I was sort of thinking, oh, should we do this video? Shouldn't we? Like, it's a gold level Widowmaker. You know, what's going to be in it? And I got to this point, I thought, yeah, we're going to be doing this one because there's a lot that we can talk about aside from aim as well. This map is going to be hard for us. This map is hard for us because the number of good Widowmaker positions is actually pretty limited. Very, very limited. The reason why is you might think, oh, well, Widowmaker's a sniper. Surely she works very well on high ground. If you're trying to shoot people from above, it's actually very hard because when you're aiming, you have two axes, right? You have the x-axis, the y-axis. Okay? And when you're shooting sort of, you know, targets straight at you, we're mostly interested in the x-axis. Like, that's all we really care about. We're just moving the mouse left and right. And that's actually pretty easy. If you're holding head height, moving left and right, you can hit most heroes on the head. There's a couple of, you know, exceptions, like Torbjorn's down here, Reinhardt's all the way up here, whatever. But we're mostly focusing on the z-axis, on the x-axis. When you start to bring in the, like, when you're looking down at a target, now you're starting to really have to adjust. And you're starting to have to adjust in like fucking two directions at the same time, which suddenly gets very difficult. So that high ground on this map, A, it's exposed as fuck, so it's not great there. B, you're trying to aim across two angles at the same time, it's not great there. And C, if they have a diva, she just flies up and you're so near the point that she can just get to you instantly. I do actually like this movement here. I think this is a much better position. I am perfectly happy as well with this use of Venom Mine. I would have maybe tried to put it a little bit further forward. The only thing I don't like is we position too far forward here. We're a little bit too exposed. Like, if you think about what, like, let's say, you know, we're this diva and we look over at the balcony, we see Widowmaker just framed in a big, beautiful square. We want to be pulled back a little bit more. We have no fear of getting knocked off. If we get knocked off, we can just grapple back on. And when we're this far forward, like, we're trying to get to the Mercy, but we're so far forward that we're just going to get nailed here. We don't have to be this far forward. We want to focus on targets that are going to be around in this area. So we want to be a little bit further back and just have, like, this in our vision rather than all this in our vision. You know, you want this edge here to be up here just by stepping back. And again, you notice that we're hesitant to sort of flick our mouse, and that's, again, just, this is a mouse sensitivity issue that needs fixing. Otherwise, let's talk about threats while we're running all the way back to spawn, all the way back from spawn. Reaper luckily is doing a good job. Reaper should be actually really good in this patch as well. So let's talk about priorities. If they have an Ana, she's definitely very high priority because she can counter snipe us, and she's actually very easy to shoot. Especially if you are doing Ana drills, you'll find that Ana just gets easier and easier and easier to shoot. Widowmaker, also very, very high priority to kill. Widowmaker counter sniping, you've just got to be able to do it at certain points. If you are losing the counter sniping battle, you've got to consider swapping. You've got to consider swapping, or you've got to consider trying to find angles where their Widowmaker isn't. But generally, consider swapping. Like, if you're getting shut down by their Widowmaker reliably, it's time to sort of put the Widowmaker away. In this instance, we probably, like, honestly, and this is going to sound harsh, we could probably put the blame for losing this on ourselves. Because during the first part of this team fight, we just ran in, we missed a shot, and we died. Literally zero contribution. And that's the honesty of Widowmaker. This is where Widowmaker also just comes into it. You've got to be honest when you're playing Widowmaker. When you are having that low contribution, it's exactly the same as playing Genji. It's exactly the same as playing Tracer. If things are not dying, then that's when you're considering swapping. That's when you are considering reprioritizing. I would think this guy is staying on Widowmaker. Arcathor is staying on Widowmaker purely because I think he knows that coaching the many Widowmaker was something I asked for, and so he sent it in as a result for that. So yeah, like, that's fine. We made our decision. We definitely want to be looking for a way to get through. Reaper's gone nuts. Good shot. Would have been nice to be a headshot. Unfortunately, we missed this area. Now notice again, we're standing in a position. I mean, this is a good shot, but this really, to justify the position we're stood in, has to be a kill shot. The second that this shot lands, we can't really afford to stay here anymore. Because again, we are just staying out in the open. We're exposed. We're vulnerable. We're going to die. And that feels bad because we don't want to die. We want to live. We want to get away. Good grapple. Ah! We finally do it. Unfortunately, Soldier 76 is sprinting after us as we speak. And again, low sensitivity would also help in this sort of dueling situation. We can actually, like, if we land the Venom Mine, we can actually win this kind of situation. Oh, we should be sniping here. Oh, we should be sniping here. We should be sniping here. The reason why I say we should be sniping here is because the Widow's Kiss, like I said, it's a great weapon against, like, a tank or something. It can churn out quite reliable damage, and Widowmaker is quite difficult to hit at close range. But this is not anywhere near as effective when the enemy team is not looking at us. Like, all their attention is in here. They have no idea that we're here. The only person who knows we're here is Soldier 76, so we should just bring up the scope, try and put the crosshair right on here. Well, try and put the crosshair probably about here, because that's why. Get the shot on the Mercy, get it down to half, and then try and finish her off maybe with the rifle and the Venom Mine when it comes up. The reason why we want to use the left click, the non-scope to finish her off is simply because if we don't hit Mercy after 1 second, then she starts regenerating. This is a waste. I'm just going to verify that by just watching what happens, because yeah, this is kind of what I expected. The reason why I say this is a waste, there's a temptation to use Infrasight instantly because it does benefit everyone on your team, but everyone on your team's already dead. There's no way we're taking a fight now. And we have Soldier 76 who's literally like ramming his assault rifle halfway up our backside. We have no time to shoot. We have no time to do anything right now. We don't want to be activating Infrasight. It's such a powerful tool for sniping for us. It gives us such a huge advantage. We don't want to activate it when we can literally get no opportunity for it. And our team, that's literally now, it seems, a Mercy who's trying to crouch walk into the enemy team and trying to sneak onto the point. Bad news. Bad news. This feels like, you know, we might be getting a bit frustrated. We might be tilting, trying to get some value. But hey, honestly, now we're actually in an okay position. Don't stand on this. Don't stand on top of this. This is bad. This is bad because, like, literally we're putting ourselves on a plinth going, oh, just imagine some nice underlighting and, you know, oh, Widowmaker, right here, please shoot me. I'm completely here. I'm out in the open. Please kill me. No, we want to be on the floor. And also, again, shooting at eye level is actually easier than shooting from an angle. Like, it's always going to be easier. You won't quite have the same amount of shots available because, you know, you can't probably see quite the same things, but you also have cover to hide behind. Makes it harder for the enemy team to get to you, harass you, put yourself in, yeah, like, I think I've explained myself enough. I think we've got this point now. Bomb goes down. We're doing damage. We're landing shots. Perfectly fine. Heroes never die. Let's try and slam a few shots into D.Va. Widowmaker's actually very good at killing D.Va. It's just unfortunately that D.Va's very good at killing Widowmaker. Hey, D.Va throws herself off. Now we're going up here. Woohoo! And again, this is why I don't like this position as well when we have the point. Like, what are the sight lines we're covering right now? Like, what are we actually covering? Like, this is actually a really good screen for this. What are we actually going to be covering from up here? Well, we could stop people who get to, like, all the way here. We could stop people who get to here. We could definitely cover the high ground over here. We can't cover this angle at all. We can't really cover the corridor coming in, so any damage coming through here, we can't stop. Widowmaker positioning on this map, I would actually say you want to be out here. You want to be over here and staring down the corridor when you hold the first point. Like, because you notice, we're not looking at anything, we're not stopping them coming anywhere, we're vulnerable on the flank. Reaper wants to be hanging out here, because by the time the enemy team start moving through here, that's when Reaper's getting effective. All the time they're coming in, Reaper's not going to be effective. We're effective up here, though. We really like being, we're effective down there, though, because we can see them coming, and we're more dangerous than they are at a long range. Like, we have a couple of opportunities maybe to get a couple of shots here, but you notice, instantly, spotted, we have no cover, we're on a plinth for the enemy team to shoot, and down we go. So I want to, like, kill this idea that some people have that Widowmaker is instantly better on high ground. She isn't. You're actually a lot stronger on even footing until you start having issues getting sightlines on targets. High ground gives you sightlines, but leaves you exposed, so there is a trade-off. So you generally on high ground, you want to get 1 or 2 kills very quickly, and then you want to change position. Oh! No way we're getting through that. The only way we get to the point there is we grapple onto it, but even that's kind of moot. So high ground gives you sightlines, but exposure. Ground level gives you easier shots, but fewer sightlines and fewer easy shots. Okay, I'm gonna drink some coffee. Do you actually get this back? And again, we're on the platform. Like, it's okay-ish now because the enemy team is so distracted. We should be lining up a shot on the resurrecting soldier as well. I'll explain that in a second as well, after I finish slapping some coffee. There we go. Oh, lovely. So, the reason why is because if we can eliminate this instantly, which we can, with Resurrect, there's a 2-second time when they're invulnerable, but they cannot shoot, they can only move. Just use that time, free time, no one's contesting us, no one's actually shooting at us, we can take all the time in the world, line up a shot on this guy, and even if we body shot him, that should be enough for Reaper to finish him off. No, we should be able to get the headshot on that, though. Oh, fuck. We should punish that maybe with a headshot, but honestly, when Reinhardt's try that, you just grapple. You just grapple out the way. This is actually good value for us. But the second you see this happen, you try and land a headshot and then grapple to the side and then try and shoot him in the back a couple of times, because then he's stuck where we can actually outpace him and outrange him, but he can't do anything. Feels bad, man. And good job to your team for contesting this long. This is the power of a Reaper. This should put an end to it, maybe. Sights? Okay, now it's our time to shine. Now we got to get some kills. Oh no, the Toddler. The Toddler! Okay, now we got to contest. Nah, not going to happen. And this is probably when someone on the team, and like, this is when I think a worse player would say, Widowmaker, why weren't you on the point? Widow, do this. Why aren't you on the point contesting the point? Honestly, a very highly skilled Widowmaker, like, and you've got to practice to be highly skilled, so there's going to be unskilled Widowmakers trying to do this, but you have to go through this period. A highly skilled Widowmaker is honestly one of the best ways to actually win these kind of deadlocks, because everyone is focused on the point. Everyone is focused on dealing damage on the point. There's going to be very few opportunities for these people to be focusing on something that isn't on the point, because they want to clear it, because they want to win. So that gives Widowmaker an opportunity to set up and then start landing shots. You'll see this a lot on Hanamura Point B. If you're defending and the Widowmaker, like if you're in overtime and contesting, and then a Widowmaker just gets on that back sort of ledge, high ground, and just starts taking shots, and you get people saying, and you get people going like, someone deal with the Widowmaker, someone deal with the Widowmaker, but no one's free to go and deal with the Widowmaker, and suddenly she gets shot, and game over. Like, it happens time and time again. Widowmaker is actually incredibly good at ending overtimes. It's just she cannot be the person on the point, and I really want to drill into the near 200 people watching. Don't be that person complaining that Widowmaker isn't on the point when there's other people currently on the point. She does not want to be there. She is so much more effective. If you want to go and contest the point, you swap and you pick Tracer and you go and contest the point with that. You don't stay on Widowmaker. If she's still on Widowmaker, you want to be off the point, shooting.
Look at this team. We're gonna do great.
Okay. Sip of coffee. So what have we talked about a lot so far? Just to like do a brief recap while we wait to get into this next round. So we talked a lot about our positioning. We talked a lot about thinking about the angle we're going from. This is a lot better. This is actually way better because now we're attacking from this angle. We have a health pack over this way. We can retreat back towards our spawn. If they run in, we can cover the point. If they run around the side, we can cover the point. This gives us way more options in terms of what we're doing. Way more options. This is much better. Perfectly fine taking the shot in the Zarya. Would have liked to see a shot in the Zenyatta. Suddenly, they have to contest with this. Oh, and you notice the D.Va now has to peel off to try and deal with us. Okay, D.Va is chasing us. Now we're sort of in cat and mouse mode. We don't want to engage a D.Va, and we don't want to be sticking around. We should be either repositioning more towards the point, just because like we're wasting D.Va's time, or we want to be repositioning sort of to get to the high ground and just leave D.Va on a merry chase where she's not doing anything effective. Again, we have grapple available. I just want to point out again as well that while crossing this, I think D.Va's shuttled off this way now, which is good for us. We either want to move into cover or we want to move somewhere quickly using grapple to reposition. You want to be very careful about using not using grapple when repositioning. Like that was perfectly fine. It would have been nice if we did a grapple launch as well. We probably would have gone through the window, which is a little bit better for us. Because again, we're not going to be effective fighting on the point here. If we're stood here just trying to like machine gun with the Widow's Kiss on the point, not going to work. Oh no, that's us dead. And hey, the swap happens. Okay, so now it's going to become coaching the many we saw to 76. Let's talk about swapping. Let's talk about swapping on Widowmaker while this rolls out. Because there comes a time, right, when, you know, one of the most common questions I get asked is how do I practice a hero I'm not good with? And Widowmaker is such a hard hero to learn and master. No, watch, it's so hard to actually get good with Widowmaker. It takes so much time to do it that most people don't bother. Like, I once tried it. I once tried to get very good with Widowmaker, and I found very quickly that it becomes kind of unsatisfying when, you know, the enemy team can just swap to a Winston. We're getting our Mercy killed, by the way, with this positioning. I'll go back over this fight as well in a second. Yeah, it's very unsatisfying when, you know, all that effort you're putting in can get countered by just someone picking Winston, and then you kind of go, oh well, that was fun, and then I have to swap hero. And then when Winston gets in meta and is just good anyway, it's just like, oh fuck. And when D.Va's doing the same thing, it's just, oh fuck. Now, hey, Diva's sort of regressing a little bit. Widowmaker coming back as a situational pick. Ryan literally said, first time I played against Josh, I went Winston and dicked him. Yes, thank you, Ryan. Thank you. And playing Widow and practicing Widow, like, I recommend, this is why, by the way, guys, when you play quick play, there is a Widowmaker on both sides, is because there's nowhere else for people to practice. And you've got to practice to be effective on Widowmaker. An effective Widowmaker can win games instantly. She is so powerful in terms of a pick and getting value and getting huge amounts of value. But a bad Widowmaker is useless, and that's what I call the honesty of Widowmaker. Like, if you are not good enough, it will not work, and the only way you can get good enough is by being bad. No one is born a great sniper, except that woman in Finland who like killed 1 million Russians, but whatever. And I'm sure she put plenty of practice in working on that. And yeah, it just takes effort. Don't be afraid though to bring it out every now and then if you do think that you can make it work on certain maps, especially. I would say less on King of the Hill. I would definitely say more on like First Point, Temple of Anubis. She's very good. Numbani, she can actually be very good as well because there's a lot of long sight lines. You can create a lot of pressure with Widowmaker. And Dorado as well, actually. Like, there's a really good tactic on Dorado First Point when you're attacking, where you just go and you go on the flank. You go over the wall and then you just jump on the back. You take your time with it. You get onto the back on the high ground. If they don't have anyone to stop you, if they don't have like a Pharah or a Diva or something to go up and meet you, you have all the time in the world just to take all the shots you want. And while your team's pushing in the front, they can't turn around, move all the way back to deal with you, so you just take the first point very effectively. There are opportunities to play Widowmaker. She's very powerful in the game. It's just fear that stops most people because it's very difficult to do. I'd say Hanzo as well is like, you know, Hanzo kind of falls in the same thing. Hanzo's a little bit more easy to be effective on just because he's a little bit more forgiving. You can bullshit Hanzo a little bit more, and scatter arrows give you more tools to actually get killed things. King's Row is also pretty good. BioDrone11 says in chat, absolutely right. King's Row First Point is actually incredible for Widowmaker. Second Point is pretty good. Third Point, defense, actually Third Point, I'd say Widowmaker is actually pretty good. One of the few examples I'd say Widowmaker is good for defending. And that's just because there's like a lot of ways you can abuse the angles to get a lot of good shots while teams are preparing. Actually, rather than commenting on Soldier, let's just keep this Widow focused, and I'll just let this play out, but it's just it's like backdrop for me to ramble. Defending Widowmaker, because we didn't see it too much there. The problem with defending Widowmaker is this. It's like I said earlier, the enemy team wants to, like, right now, it's actually a good example. You notice that we don't really have that many opportunities to sort of poke at the enemy team. They're mostly saying, well, hopefully, the enemy team is usually staying relatively self-contained before starting to push in. That means that they're going to be out of line of sight. That means we have to extend to try and get shots on them. That won't happen too often, and so we don't get that many opportunities to get people on the way in. When they're speed boosting their way in, for example, as we get sights coming out on both sides, when they're speed boosting in and running in, the amount of time you have to get a shot is pretty goddamn limited. When you are attacking, the enemy team generally has to be standing somewhere in the open, somewhere where you could generally take little peeks at them, try and get a pick, and then when you do get a pick, your team capitalizes, charges in on a 5 versus 6. Realistically, it's more like a 5 versus 5.5, because Widowmaker isn't that useful in the full fight until she starts landing shots or until the fight is joined. Then distractions start happening and she gets more and more effective. But we want to be very... Yeah, we have opportunities to get those picks. That's why Widowmaker on offense is actually a lot stronger in my mind than on defense, just because the amount of time you have to get shots. My exception being King's Row, Third Point, defense is very, very good because the way the S-bend works, you have a lot of like high ground positions where you can watch the enemy team gathering up. There's a lot of places you can just grapple to get a couple of shots and then grapple away safely and get out nice and safe. Meanwhile, play the game, going to Glazy666. By the way, guys, now in chat is a good time to ask questions. Might be a little bit shorter today, but hey, it's Widowmaker. How much depth can we really go into? I think we covered a lot, and aside from, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I really want to talk about with Widowmaker in terms of improving play. I think that's about it. And we'll talk a bit about swapping off, I'm sure, in the Q&A. But let's commentate over this. Chat, start asking questions while we do this. We have Glazy666 here on Li Jiang. What can you find? He gets the Diva instantly. He's being drilled down, but he's staying alive. Draws out the whole hog, looking for even more kills. Spamming it absolutely everywhere. Man's going crazy. Gets himself 2 more kills. 3 almost with the whole hog. So close to picking up that soldier. Doesn't quite get it, though. That was, what was his name? Glazy666 on Li Jiang Tower. Okay. Yes. The woman that was Ukrainian. Sorry, why did I think she was Finn? Anyway, questions. Widowmaker